My name's Vani Hari again. I run The Food Babe. I'm a food activist and author, entrepreneur, and I'm so excited to be in this movement with you. So here we go.
Good toucan. What does this button do?
I'm Ava Mendez and I'm boycotting Kellogg's until they treat Americans like they treat Europeans and Canadians and take out these toxic ingredients.
Growing concerns around what's in breakfast cereal.
American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here.
I'm voting with my dollars and boycotting Kellogg's until they remove the garbage from our kids' food.
I am boycotting Kellogg's until they take out some of these horrendously toxic ingredients that we're feeding our kids.
No more dyes! No more dyes! No more dyes!
I'm concerned about the health of Americans, and I want to encourage you to join me in holding corporations like Kellogg's accountable.
Is there a reason why you're poisoning our cereal more than the cereal that you give to other nations?
This will be the biggest petition ever collected, taking on the food industry. Kellogg's, if you're listening, please let us in.
Kellogg's, I'm boycotting you.
The ingredients in Kellogg's are linked to cancer. Do not buy Kellogg's and support this corruption.
Kellogg's, would you please take the poisons out of your food and stop harming our children?
Don't buy Kellogg's until Kellogg stops poisoning us with artificial crap.
This is the brightness of the Canadian version, and this is the brightness of artificial food dyes.
Say yes to the health of this nation and our kids and boycott Kellogg's.
As a pediatrician, I'm urging you to stop buying Kellogg's. Their ingredients are hurting our children's brain and their health.
Stop buying Kellogg's until they improve their ingredients here in America.
Nobody should buy Kellogg's until they fix it.
Friends don't let friends eat Kellogg's.
Stop buying Kellogg's now.
So Kellogg's is turning their back on America today. Is that what you're saying?
Corporate security.
They don't care about you or me or our kids or our health. They care about their bank accounts.
We need to demand better. We need to vote with our wallets.
Now the move is bankrupt Kellogg's, bankrupt every single American food company who is complicit in the mass poisoning of our children.
Body, the executives are right there looking.
They have a sign! They have a sign that says get off my lawn! Kellogg's employees have a sign that says get off my lawn!
They told all the kids to get off their lawn, so we will not allow their products in our homes.
Our children deserve better. Boycott Kellogg's.
Join me and others in boycotting Kellogg's until they agree to remove toxic ingredients and dyes from our food sources.
Kellogg's does not care about you! Kellogg doesn't care about you. No one should eat Kellogg's anymore or buy anything from Kellogg's from this point forward. We're starting a mandatory boycott from this moment forward. Do not buy Kellogg.
It is officially time to cancel Kellogg's.
We must boycott Kellogg's.
Do not buy Kellogg's.
It's time to vote with our dollars and cancel Kellogg's.
Cancel Kellogg's.
Cancel Kellogg's.
Cancel Kellogg's until it does the right thing.
Moms in particular are in charge of Kellogg's. We're not effing around anymore.
Do not buy Kellogg's cereal. Stop buying Kellogg's.
Don't buy their stuff. Don't buy any of their stuff.
I want Americans to be treated the same way as citizens in other countries by our own American companies.
My American brothers and sisters, let's come together and boycott Kellogg's. This is just the beginning.
Screenshot that so you know what to avoid at the grocery store. All of those brands of cereals. All right, folks. I just want to say thank you to all the amazing voices that made that video possible. and all of the people who met us in Battle Creek, Michigan on October 15th to deliver over 400,000 signatures to Kellogg's front doors that day. When we got to the front doors, Kellogg's did not let us in. They wouldn't sit down with us for a meeting. They wouldn't even have the decency to return any of our phone calls, all of the countless letters we sent them in advance for 5 years now. And they had a missed opportunity to do something right, which was to listen to the countless voices that we were representing that day, the voices that were looking for answers for why their kids have ADHD, why their kids are experiencing behavior issues when they eat certain foods, why their kids have eczema, asthma, allergies. And all I could think about that day was me as a little girl, so sick, on so many prescription drugs. And had I known it was the food that I was eating, which I would say the majority of food that I was eating had artificial food dyes. And it was one of the first things that I removed from my diet and changed my life forever. And it's what drives my passion as a food activist. And when we got to the headquarters and they didn't let us in, and when I looked up after Callie Means and Jason Karp said, "Hey, look up, there's the executives, they're looking down at us." And I saw the sign that said, "Get off my lawn." Someone had rolled their whiteboard over to the window and wrote, "Get off my lawn." And when I saw that, every single ounce of energy in my body turned to fire. I lost it. I was so disgusted. And you can see in that video the reaction I had. And when I look back at that, at first, I guess, you can be a little bit of self-critical, but it was so intense of emotion. I had to go walk off and cool down, because after all we've been through, all the signatures we've collected, and all of the ways that we tried to have a conversation with this corporation and they just keep denying it, was really alarming. Not to mention that they wouldn't let Jason Karp in, who's a shareholder at Kellogg's, and they wouldn't let in the elected officials that we had that day. So as a result, we started a mandatory boycott. And I think it's going really well, because I have to tell you, I'm hearing word on the street that a major retailer is about to drop Kellogg's from their shelves. They are looking for viable alternatives without artificial food dyes to replace Kellogg's. And this is a major retailer, a retailer I grew up with. So when I found this out, I lost it. I couldn't believe it. But this is how we change the food industry. This is how we get it done. We take the bad stuff out, we vote with our dollars, and the new stuff comes in, the stuff that's better for us, that's better for our kids, that's better for our future. And I just want to say, today I'm joined here with a very courageous individual that is a family member of W.K. Kellogg. This morning, we had an election, right? Yesterday we had an election. And we now know that President Trump has won another term. And he has put Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in charge of corporate corruption at the highest levels in Washington. And this morning, he spent his time, the first morning after probably staying up all night to look at election results, talking about Froot Loops, talking about removing artificial dyes out of these cereals. He is already going to work for us. And I'll tell you, this wouldn't have been possible without all of your voices being super loud, signing petitions, meeting us at the headquarters, demanding that they sit down with us, and all of you guys out there who called the headquarters that day and demanded that they sit down with us. And all of the posts that you share on a daily basis. Because I tell you, we are reaching millions and millions of people. And now we cannot be stopped. Our movement is growing faster than ever, and it's just so exciting. So with that, I want to say, since coming back from Battle Creek, Michigan, I haven't slept. I've been talking to as many people as possible about getting this message out. And I have received so many emails and so many contacts from my website that I simply can't keep up. And so there's probably many more of this that I haven't even been able to discover yet. But there's two individuals that came through that I couldn't believe. First was a woman named Janine Kellogg Keynes. Her uncle was W.K. Kellogg's, who started basically mass producing and selling Kellogg's cereal. And this is what she said. I'm going to read you her note to me. If Dr. K were alive, he would have not allowed it. I feel it is unconscionable. If WK was alive, this wouldn't have happened either. My great uncle, also William Kellogg, hung out with WK on his Arabian horse ranch out there in Southern California quite a bit. They were close. It galls me to think my family has sunk so low as to do this to our country's people. Thank you for your work. We need to change their practices. The fact that an iconic American company can serve more toxic ingredients to us here in the United States and sell safer versions of their exact same product in other countries has to stop. And it's going to stop today. Tomorrow is Kellogg's earnings call, first thing in the morning. And that's why I thought it was so important, first of all, to have this meeting tonight, because I want to, if Kellogg's, if you're listening, we know you're listening. We know you're watching, okay? We know you're listening. This is it. You can't hide anymore. The highest levels of government are coming for you. We've come for you. We came to your headquarters. We came to your front door. And now, family is coming out. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Victoria Kellogg.
Hello.
Hi, Victoria. Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. It is so courageous that you were able to reach out to me and discuss why this issue meant so much to you, for you to come out and talk about this. So I just want to ask you, how exactly are you related to the Kellogg family?
Well, my great-great-great-grandfather was William Keith Kellogg. His son, John Leonard Kellogg, was my great-great-grandfather. His son, William Keith Kellogg, second of his name, was my great-grandfather. He had a son named William Keith Kellogg III. My father is his oldest son. I am his only daughter.
What do you remember growing up about in the Kellogg family?
In what regard? How my life was, or?
Yeah, like what kind of things did you eat for breakfast?
It's actually a very funny story. So I'll never forget it. My father and I were having Kellogg's cereal, and I said, I'm just so tired of eating this crap. And
how old were you?
I was probably 8 years old. And my father put a spoon down and he said, you know what? So am I. Let's not eat it ever again. There hasn't been a box of Kellogg's in our house since. This morning I had some organic farm-raised eggs and some steak. Also a protein smoothie.
Truvani?
Certified organic.
No way. No way. That's incredible. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. You got me. I'm blushing now. All right. Wow. When you wrote into me, you mentioned you were a victim of food industry poisoning. Can you tell me more about that?
So I have a number of health issues. I was diagnosed with lipedema, and I also have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I had gastritis, cannot verify if I still have or not. I have leaky gut syndrome and SIBO as a result of food poisoning. Thanks, food industry, for destroying my life. Anyway, So I have issues that have been cured so far. I don't need to go into those. But in general, because of my food choice change, my life has gotten better. I also have a genetic mutation called MTHFR and COMT. I'm not sure how many Kellogg's have this genetic mutation, but it has made it very difficult to get vitamin nutrition. And so I am chronically low in all types of vitamins. In fact, I just had my intravenous IV today, 2 hours ago, because I really need to get supplementation because I just have a very difficult time absorbing because these foods have poisoned my intestines. And so I have to, I pretty much live at the doctor's office. I mean, sometimes I have 5 doctor's appointments in one day. That's my life. I don't have time to enjoy my life because I'm sick all the time. I'm getting better. I'm not sickly anymore, but it took years for me to get to this point. So it breaks my heart that there are so many children that have similar problems that I do. I was bedridden when I was probably about 19 years old. I almost bled to death from hemorrhaging. I was bleeding for 2 months, and I was sleeping for 2 days straight, and I had been diagnosed with critical anemia. So I was eating liver every day. My parents moved me into their dressing room and made it into a bedroom because they would check up on me and make sure that they wanted to know if I was going to survive the night because they thought I was going to die.
And you think this is largely based on the American standard diet you were eating?
Absolutely. I mean, there are other things that I could talk about another time, but I would say food and big pharma have been a big problem.
So how do you feel about Kellogg's selling safer versions of the exact same product that they make here in America?
I think it's great that they're adding fruit juices to Kellogg's products in Europe. I think they should do it here. I understand that sometimes corporate issues are a bit complicated. If that's the problem, maybe Kellogg should reduce its size so that they can fund these getting healthier ingredients, because red dye is a problem. I had a friend years ago. She was seated behind me in class, and she asked me if I could switch my paper with her because we were given coloring paper, and she had red paper. And I said, I really like my shade of blue, and because my blue is my favorite color. And she said, please, I'm allergic to red dye. If I touch this, I will die. And I switched with her. She was deadly allergic. She couldn't even touch red paper, couldn't wear red clothes. She could wash the clothes, but she had a lot of food allergies. I mean, the red dye ingredient is very, very, very toxic, and it's very concerning. And that's how I learned about it when I was middle school.
How do you feel your great grandfather would feel about this right now, considering Froot Loops was invented after he died?
I don't think he would have supported this. I think it's very unfortunate that Kellogg is promoting this, but I mean, this is just the way our society is these days. I don't know if he would have been for it. I do know that Kellogg's was pretty much invented, the Corn Flakes specifically, because there are some families that have to, back in the Victorian era, you had to put on a stove, and it took a long time to light the fire. And Kellogg's was like basically a food for working class people. They could just put milk in this bowl of food, which the Seventh-day Adventists believe that fiber was very good for your intestines. Fiber is very good. We now know that grain is not ideal. Maybe it's better for maybe vegans. I'm not a vegan myself, so but that's what Kellogg's was for, and his intention was to help people. And now people are getting really sick, and it's really, really sad what our world has become. You know,
What do you-
Kellogg's, I am really ashamed of you for doing this to me and my family. After all of the things we have done, you have betrayed my family. I'm personally very hurt by this. My whole family is. I contacted my third cousins out in Washington, and they are just as heartbroken as I am.
So it puts me in a really interesting position to have you here with me today, because I'm fighting so hard to get this message out, and I'm making it a PR nightmare for Kellogg's. But this is your family. You know, this is your blood, right? How do you feel about activists like me doing this?
Thank you. You're doing my family a great service. Every time a child eats something and gets sick, I feel terrible about it. And that is one of the reasons I'm speaking out today. Is if I'm in a place of power, it is my duty to speak out and just do the right thing. We live in a world where people wish to be comforted by, you know, we don't want to get involved and do things. And maybe my reputation will be soiled after this, but I don't care. It's important to do the right thing.
Why do you think they wouldn't listen to us? All of the different voices we had on our petition, and so I mean, there's 1,000 people on the ground there that day estimated. Why do you think they wouldn't even have the decency to just sit down and talk to us?
I have no intelligent guess. It could be maybe they're busy. I mean, corporate entities are genuinely extremely busy. I dated a VP of the top 100 companies, so I mean, I know how it is. But essentially, sorry, now I'm having a brain freeze because. Oh, they're probably not responding because they are busy. But honestly, I don't think they care. I'm not sure how much they care. You know, I don't know. Has the CEO wrote back to you? Hello?
No one's written back to us.
No one's written back to you. Well, you know, my family are a family of honor. So when we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. I would hope that Kellogg would live my family's legacy and just do the right thing. Take food dyes out of its products and add food dyes or fruit juices. I think fruit juice would be an interesting option. You know, obviously Kellogg's Corn Flakes or cereal in general is not ideal, but sometimes I'm not here to judge, but sometimes it's just convenient for people. And maybe if someone can get their vitamins from fruit or vegetables, I think that would be much better. And I mean, if we look at the health of people in Europe, they're much healthier. I do know that that's changing, though. They are starting to add GMOs, and their food is slowly losing quality over time, probably because of poor American influence. So this is my opinion, but I don't know why Kellogg hasn't written back to you. I can't say. But I think that they should, and I think they should apologize for making a false vow, and I think they should correct their wrong and take this out of the food.
Well, thank you so much, Victoria. It, again, was so wonderful to have you here today, to have your support, to have a family member, an heiress of Kellogg's cereal, to come here today to tell the American people, all the people watching, all the supporters, all the activists, all the reporters that are on here today, that their own legacy family members disagree with this decision. And
I can't think of a single Kellogg that supports this.
You can't think of a single Kellogg that supports this?
Absolutely not. They're not going to speak out, but I don't think I can think of a single Kellogg that is.
If you can leave the Kellogg shareholders with one last message, what do you want to say?
I am willing to lose money over this. if people are safe. Money is not everything in life. But when you're sick in bed and your children are sick in bed for their whole life because they have health problems, money really doesn't matter anymore. They'll do anything to be able to go outside and breathe fresh air, to play outside with people. I'm going to be 30 years old this year, and I still don't have the blessing that many young people have. I'm not able to, I can't go to young adults groups. I can't socialize the same way because all the time it's just doctors every single day, and it's exhausting. So that's just the way it is.
Again, thank you so much for being here today. It was so brave for you to come live in front of the internet and share this message and support our campaign. It is really courageous. Thank you so much. And I wish you well. If there's anything I can do ever, holler.
Likewise. I'd also love to support, I would also recommend that people boycott other companies that are producing these toxic food dyes. And I would absolutely boycott Kellogg is the final message. Boycott Kellogg. I'm Victoria Kellogg, and I approve this message.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.